These are days and nights of venom and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Cypher and welcome to my Magicka Nightblade 1.6 build video. I know you guys are probably wondering where's the Stamina DK build video and where's the Stamina Nightblade build video. The Stamina DK build video is still under construction. We're still finalizing the last few tweaks with a Charian. It's her build, so she's the one who is playing it more efficiently than I am right now, and she says that the build still needs more time before it's finalized, and I'm guessing that it should take up to a week before we have a build ready to be produced. Now, I know you guys are probably wanting something right now, but in my opinion, it's better to have a complete build than to upload something that is going to be changed in just a few more days. So, to get that out of the way, the Nightblade Stamina build, that is still in early stages. Me and her are trying out a lot of new things. We leveled up a lot of stats, so that could take 2 to 3 weeks before it's uploaded. So thank you guys for staying patient. I know it's not easy, but I'm going to give you guys this for now, the Magicka Nightblade build video, and hopefully you guys can benefit from this. I like to make my build videos short because I don't believe that there is one build that works for everyone. I'm just going to show you the core concepts of what I'm using, and it's up to you whether you use the core concepts or you adjust it to your preference. If you're not feeling comfortable with the build and you're not performing well, then it's probably because you need to adjust a few things until you feel comfortable with the build. So let's get started. Our first bar is our Destro Fire Bar. It's going to be Flame Reach for the knockback. You guys have seen me use this in a video in 1.5 extremely effectively to knock people off edges and kill them with fall damage, but it's also extremely useful on flat surface, and I'll show you guys exactly what I mean. I'm going to upload a video right after this video goes live of me playing with this build, and you guys will see me use almost all the things I talk about in this build video in that build. So it's extremely useful. It has double the range now compared to 1.5, and it also has double the damage due to the dot that's attached to it. So it's extremely useful for knocking back your opponent, for dot, and it's extremely fun to knock people off edges. So yeah, Force Shock, morph into Crushing Shock. We didn't morph for the extra 10% damage because I think it's still important to have a long range stun against hard casts like Snipe, Radiant Destruction, Soul Strike. You want to be able to, stun casting enemies. It's extremely useful, and I have killed a lot of opponents who have tried, doing casts like Snipe and Radiant Destruction by, stunning them and then finishing them off during the stun. So it's definitely useful. You don't need the extra 10% damage. This build already does a lot of damage, and it can be built to do more damage without having to use the other morph of Crushing Shock. Concealed Weapon is going to be your melee range magic attack, and it's useful against anyone who's reflecting. It's also useful against people who are, dodging a lot of your projectiles, and it's extremely useful for the stun and the speed boost. The stun is 5 seconds. If you hit someone while you're cloaked up with concealed, you stun them for 5 seconds. I think that is the longest stun in the game. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think 5 seconds is the longest stun in the game. So you get the 5-second stun, plus you get the speed boost while you're cloaked up. Now, talking about speed boost, Cripple, which is a long range root plus dot, also gives you Major Expedition, which is a 40% increase on your movement speed. That stacks with Concealed Weapon. So you can use both of these for extremely fast movement, and you do not understand just how important movement speed is when it comes to solo PvP. Being able to get in and out of situations extremely fast, especially with this build that's squishy because it's in 7s7 light, is extremely important. And I'll show you just how to use it effectively on defense and on offense. We also have Dark Cloak. That's a given. It removes dots. It's going to be your main way of avoiding damage, and just it synergizes well with all the aspects of this build. So definitely gonna have to use Dark Cloak. Soul Harvest. The only reason I'm using this is because I don't have any other options. If I had my Mage's Guild leveled up to 10, which I don't, I would have Meteor here. Either morph is fine. And if I had my main story quest done, I don't have it done on this account because all I did was grind to get to V14. Don't ask me how I grinded because whatever I did is no longer working. Soul Strike and Meteor are better options, but I'm using Soul Harvest and I'm still using it effectively. But if I had Soul Strike or Meteor, I'd put that. So if you have that, go ahead and use those instead. Second bar, Restoration Bar. We got our 2 shields, Harness Magicka, cheap magic shield, and Nightblades do not have any shields, so you just got to use what you got. Healing Ward is going to be your main heal, and it's also going to be a decent sized shield if your health drops low. rapid regen. I had quick siphon here because you could synergize quick siphon and elemental drain with the fact that force shot counts as 3 hits. But I realized quickly that that is really only useful in 1v1 situations. It's extremely useful in 1v1 situations. It's a lot better. But in open world, when you're switching from target to target like I do, you do not want to have to rely on debuffing a target before starting to attack them. And you don't want to have to be tunnel visioned by a debuff target versus another target. So it's important not to be tunnel visioned. I think just having the heal over time on you at all times is better to keep your health capped. Now here is Double Take. This is a recent addition to the build, but it's one of my favorite additions to the build because now I get Major Expedition while on defense as well. It doesn't stack with the Cripple Major Expedition, but you won't always have the Cripple Expedition on at all times because you actually have to be on offense and land a cripple on someone to get the Major Expedition. But this, you can cast it on yourself. First of all, it gives you 20% dodge chance. That's extremely useful in 1.6 because of the fact that you can now dodge certain AoEs and damages over time. So you dodge all those certain AoEs and damage over time, and also just regular abilities. So it gives you more survivability, but you also get the 40% movement speed while you're on defense. You can cast it without having to actually land a hit on someone to get the movement speed. Extremely useful to get in and out of situations, and probably one of my favorite additions to this build. Shadow Image. My favorite ability that Nightblades have. You get to teleport back to a shadow that you place. You reduce target's damage. You can use this offensively, defensively. You can juke out groups of people. It gives you a lot more flexibility and movement speed. You guys have seen me use this in all my Nightblade build videos and streams. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to Shadow Image. Probably one of the best Nightblade abilities, but one of the most unappreciated Nightblade abilities at the same time. I've rarely ever seen Nightblades using this ability, but you guys should start using this. It's extremely useful. Now, Soul Tether. Soul Tether, the reason I have it here, first of all, it's kind of good now that it can tether more than one person. So if you tether like 4 or 5, 6 people, you're gonna be really hard to kill as long as you keep the tether attached because you're gonna be getting healed from everyone. So it's a good defensive and offensive ability. It doesn't do as much damage anymore, so it's not extremely useful offensive. It's mainly a defensive ability that I use when I'm like, oh shit, I got 5, 6 guys around me. I gotta do this to buy some time. That's what I use it for. But the main reason I have it here in particular is I want the extra magic increase, which is increase max Magicka by 8% while a siphoning ability is slotted. So I don't have any siphoning over here, but I have a siphoning ultimate ability which counts. So that gives you the 8% max Magicka. On this bar I have Cripple for the extra max Magicka. Let's go into armor sets. Armor sets, I'm just going to tell you, it doesn't matter what you're using as long as you're using something that supports your weakness. So if you're bad with stamina management, you can wear Warlock and Arena, or if you're bad with Magicka management, you can wear Seducer and Warlock. If you feel like you're lacking damage, there's a lot of spell damage setups. Probably the most popular one is going to be 2 Cyrodiil's Light, 2 Adroitness, 4 Martial Knowledge, and 2 Torx Pact. I'm using a mix of spell damage and Magicka management. So I'm using 5 pieces of Warlock, the sash and the shoulders, and I'm also using the jewelry. And on the jewelry, I have all reduced cost of Magicka. That's probably the best option because spell damage and regen are nerfed when it comes to jewelry. You're better off getting your regen and spell damage from armor sets. I'm also wearing 4 pieces of martial knowledge. I'm wearing the helmet, gloves, pants, boots. I'm wearing V11 gloves and V12 pants and boots and helmet. I have some V13 stuff that I'm going to upgrade. Doesn't really make a difference in my opinion. Torx Pact 2-piece. I'm wearing the top with the Torx Pact staff and Resto staff and Inferno staff. I have Sharpen on the Resto and I have Nirnhorn in the Inferno. You're better off just going with Nirnhorn on both. Some people say that this is bugged. It might be. And even if it isn't bugged, even if it is bugged and they change it to not be bugged, it's still the best option for for this build. It's still the best option. Having the increased spell resistance because you're wearing 7 light, you're kind of squishy, and increased spell penetration. That's extremely important. I'm going all into Magicka, but you can switch it up. If you're running out of stamina really fast, you might want to have more stamina. If you feel like you're getting one-shotted, you might want to have more health. So it depends on what you're lacking. But this is how I have it. I have a heavy Magicka. The Atronach Mundustone. I'm still a werewolf for the extra stamina regen. I know some people are saying there's some negative sides now to being a werewolf. I can't really tell So I'm just gonna keep it how it is for the stam regen. Can't really tell because I'm not getting hit too much with this build. So I'm not getting affected by Fighters Guild stuff like and poison anyway. So I'm not finding it troublesome to keep werewolf. So there's that. Now champion tree. This is probably gonna be my least favorite part of all my build videos because it's always gonna be changing, and you need to just build to your weakness. I tell people this all the time. It's not about what I tell you to do. I'm telling you what I'm more comfortable with, but you have to figure out what you're comfortable with. If you feel like you're running out of stamina first, go into stamina regen, go into things that help your stamina. If you feel like you're running out of magicka, go into cost reduction and magicka regen. If you feel like you're too squishy, put points that reduce to make you more tanky. Like that's how it is. This is the purpose. This is where you're supposed to break off and be an individual for your build. But let's just go through here really quickly. 10 points to get reduced cross of max magicka in the tower. 20 points here, 21 points here spent, stam recovery, magicka recovery. Okay, these are the three I would focus on, but that's just my opinion. Over here, you kind of do want to put 30 points in here, at least when you get started, because you get the extra 12% spell crit. That's probably a given. You probably want to do that. So don't be a snowflake on this. Go ahead and get the 30 points in here. That 12% spell crit is extremely useful. Now, whether you put in points into here, or here, that you can mix it up. But I just went with extra damage on my force shocks and knockdown, and then also extra spell penetration. So here's that. Now over here, this is where you're gonna be more tanky, reduce damage from poison, disease, and magic, reduce fire, reduce elemental damage, and then reduce dot damage. This one's not as useful because cloak removes dot damage, but I just have it just for the sake of having it. Spell absorption is extremely useful, especially because I have low health, so I do proc it occasionally. Resilient, not as useful, but still whatever. We have it there. So that's it for. Don't ask me more questions about the champion trees. It's always gonna be changing. You're always gonna be putting points in different places. Just like fit it to your playstyle. You gotta fit it to your playstyle, guys. That's simple as that. Thank you guys so much for watching. That's all I have for today. I'm gonna upload right after this video goes live. You should look for another video of me PvPing with this build, and it's gonna be great. Like I've gotten some pretty decent clips for you guys to see. You guys are gonna really enjoy it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments, I will be replying to your comments on Reddit, YouTube, or on the forums, whichever where you're posting. And I'm willing to have discussion with you guys about this build. Yeah, thank you guys so much for being patient for so long. I do have a lot of things happening in my life right now, so it's kind of tough on me, but I'm gonna get through this. I'll see you guys